it is not Victory Monday. My friend said she said it's like miserable Monday, Raj. I was like, no, it's not miserable because, but after this news, it's miserable Monday. This is tough, man. Deebo Samuel has been um, officially ruled out for a couple of weeks. He won't play this Sunday against the Rams because he strained his calf against the Vikings yesterday. This is according to Kyle Shanahan just a couple minutes ago. Dude, these calves in the Niners, man, what is going on? Christian McCaffrey, he has the Achilles tendonitis. It started with the calf strain. Now Deebo has the calf issue. Um, that sucks, dude. These two guys are so dynamic. Like Deebo is so important for this offense. I know we got dogs, we got Juwan Jennings, we got Jacob Cowing. Maybe he can elevate himself. He's not Deebo Samuel. Okay, I love Jacob Cowan. He's a good young rookie, but he's not Deebo Samuel. Let's be honest. Deebo is like a big part of why this offense does what it does. Um, it's unfortunate. And who else? Brandon Ayuk. This is if there's any time for Brandon Ayuk to step up, it's Sunday against the Rams. Like, listen, Ayuk, you paid $30 million a year. You get 120 million over 4 years. It's time to ball out. But man, I love Deebo. He's such a guy. He had 110 yards the other day. Like he was putting this team on his back, man. Like he was trying so hard to get this team to win, and he's out. He's a captain. He's a captain for a reason. But unfortunately for the 49ers, Deebo is expected to miss a couple of weeks. We don't know how long it's going to take. Again, these calf injuries are very, very scary because it could turn into an Achilles issue. The Niners did play on turf. That was the fear of Christian McCaffrey coming and playing on turf and Talanoa Hufanga, and now you get another guy dealing with the calf injury, which is a big blow to this team. Now, the Rams are also dealing with tons of injuries. Sean McVay today said that Cooper Kupp will be dealing with an ankle injury, and he's going to be out for a couple weeks, probably going to go on the injured reserve. So this is going to be a tough battle. Both these teams need this win. The Rams absolutely need this win. It's a must win for them. They're 0-2. They can't lose to the Niners. And the Niners are 1-1. They can't lose to the Rams. They got to keep some footing in the NFC West. This becomes a must win game. Let's talk about the Rams' current injuries. Cooper Kupp, ankle, he's probably going to go on the IR. Puka Nakua, he's on the IR. Tyler Higbee, the tight end, he's on the PUP. Joe Noteboom, he's an offensive tackle, he's on the IR. KT Leviston, offensive tackle, IR. Connor McDermott, offensive tackle, he's on the IR. Steve Avila, he's a guard, he's on the IR. Jonah Jackson, I think he just rap sheet announced that I think he had a fibula fracture or something like that, and he's going to go on the IR. Laurel Murchison, defensive lineman, IR. Darius Williams, IR. Cornerback Darian Kendrick, IR. And their safety, John Johnson the third, is on possibility to go on the IR. So that's the Rams. The Niners are dealing with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga. It's tough, man. The NFL's dicey. We know the 49ers had a lot of issues during, the offseason and training camp, and it's continuing to bleed into this season. But hopefully they can weather the storm. Ricky Pearsall, right? He's on the NFI list, but he should be coming back soon. This is tough, man. This is unfortunate news for the 49ers with Deebo Samuel because he's a guy that you can't really replicate what he does. You get the ball in his hand, he's a playmaker. He's not just a receiver. He's a wide back, right? He can run the ball, catch the ball. He does it all. So, man, it's tough. People are upset at Deebo, I know, because he does get hurt a lot. But the reason is he plays so physical, and Kyle loves Deebo. He uses him in so many ways. But again, that's just the reality of the situation. It's how the 49ers play. And Jordan Mason, that's another guy. I'm worried about Jordan Mason. I'm not going to lie to you. He's had 48 carries in 2 weeks, 20 last night, 28 the week before. He's rumbling, bumbling. He's got the number 2 rushing yards in the league, 247, right behind J.K. Dobbins. This guy's a beast, but they need another running back behind him. They're not using Garendo. They're not using anybody. They need to get another running back to help out Jordan Mason without Christian McCaffrey. No, man. Maybe Chris Conley steps up at wide receiver. Again, Juwan Jennings, he's been playing like a wide receiver one, really. He'll step up and do his thing. It's up to Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk has to earn his keep, man. Batman has no more excuses. Time to ball out. Gold Blooded says every time Debo gets a lot of touches, you can bet he's going uninjured. Yeah, it's unfortunate. He does get a lot of carries and then he gets banged up, but is it sustainable with his usage? I don't know. And it's a good point. I mean, I don't want to bash on him. I'm not bashing on Debo. It's just one of those things where he does take a beating because of the way Kyle uses him, and he throws him, and he uses like the other day. What is it? 8 catches, 110 yards, but he's also coming out of the backfield. They're using him in exotic ways, not like most receivers. He's not a traditional receiver. You throw a wide receiver screen and people hit him. They gang up on Debo. They try to take because it's hard to take him down. He's like a bowling ball, so people have to use more force to take a Debo down. So I don't really think it's Debo's fault though, because people, they want to come in and say what they say about Debo, but he really tries his best, man. He really tries to keep him. So he got himself in great shape this year. Again, it's just the way they use him, and he takes a beating out there because teams want to take this guy down, and they use 3, 4, 5 defenders sometimes. They swarm him because it's hard to take him down. It's hard to take Debo down. You know, he's too strong, but and then he pays for it later. So. And they do run him up the gut sometimes as a wide receiver. Like last week, they did use him in like a draw type play where they go up the gut. And what are you doing that with Debo? Use your running backs to do that. Don't put that wear and tear on Debo. So it's not the first time they did it. Ah, man. It's time for Brandon Ayuk to step up, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? They also still have George Kittle. As banged up as the Niners are, you got George Kittle, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got Juwan Jennings. We haven't even talked about George Kittle yet. This guy is a fantastic player, but he's another guy, man. You just don't want him to get hurt because he plays a lot similar to Deebo. Very physical, very aggressive. He's going to hit you in the mouth. He's tough to take down. He likes to drag the defenders, but he had a good game last week, his 100th game in the NFL, and he had a great game last week, honestly. If you really think about it, he should have got more carries or more targets. Sorry, more targets, more receptions. George Kittle's a guy that you can rely on him. He's a stud, and he keeps breaking records. So now you're gonna have to expect George Kittle to step up and take a big chunk of the targets, along with Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings. So not easy to replace Debo, but you're gonna have to use your way. You got the Avengers, right? Niners are supposed to have the Avengers. Let's see what they got. They also got a man named Kyle Juszczyk who gets in the actions every once in a while. When Kyle Juszczyk gets the ball, good things happen. Give me more juice. Brandon Ayuk, let's have a 100-yard game. Kittle, let's have a 100-yard game. Jordan Mason tearing it up. So the offense is still good. You got Jordan Mason, you got Juwan Jennings, you got George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. You still got dogs on this team. Should still win in LA, but taking away Debo from this offense, it hurts. I mean, he is a guy that his motion when he gets the ball and he's in motion, he doesn't even need the ball to make this offense good. You know what I mean? Like he does things to set up plays, and that's what Debo does. Blocking, it's gonna be tough without him. I don't know. I'm just frustrated. Baby Radiant says, let's not forget the Rams have a banged up wide receivers too. Yeah, they're banged up. We mentioned that earlier. Again, Puka, Cooper Cup, both teams are feeding for a win. I mean, the Rams definitely want to win this game, right? First, first game of the season, they need to win. They haven't won a game yet, so the Rams are going to be feasting for a win at their home stadium. Although they don't really have home field advantage, it's more of a Niners home field advantage. If you really, if you know, you know. Niners, Levi South, they own that place. So, for all intents and purposes, this is like a Niners home game. But the Rams, man, they're banged up. Sean McVay does not want to take an L to Kyle Shanahan, but Kyle Shanahan typically beats this man. That's his medicine. When the Niners need to get back on track, what do? They go and beat Sean McVay. Except in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago. We ain't going to mention that. But typically, Kyle owns this, man. So I hope he continues the trend of owning Sean McVay and get this dub because the Niners need to go to 2-1. I don't want to see this team fall to 1-2. That would be tragic because their schedule only gets harder as the season goes on. So hopefully the Niners can hold on, get this dub without Deebo, weather the storm, and take care of business. And again, we didn't even mention the defense. Nick Bosa had a great game, 2 sacks yesterday. Fred Warner, man. When Fred Warner plays, the Rams typically goes off. Remember the pick six a couple years back? Pick six, Fred Warner. Woo! That game was amazing. Remember when he did the missile? When he like dove clear across the field, tackled the guy. That was amazing. Fred Warner typically owns the Rams, and I'm pretty sure Fred Warner is going to come into LA, and dominate like he always does. So Deebo owns LA. Yeah, he does. But he won't be there, unfortunately. Top Shelf, did you see all the starters the Rams have on IR? Yeah, at the top of the show, we mentioned like every Rams injured player. It's a long list. My Sports Update posted a update earlier. And we were looking at it. This was it. This my Ari Myrov, my boy, My Sports Update, he posted everybody that's a potential or an IR player on the Rams. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players. Sheesh. So the Rams are banged up. Niners are banged up. Both teams need a win. It's tough, man. We'll see how it goes. But that's it. Niners are down with Deebo. They're down with Christian McCaffrey. They still got a big chance to win this game. Again, Brandon Ayuk's got to step up. Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Jordan Mason, the undrafted running back who's making a name for himself. Shout out to, Jordan Mason. We got to talk about him real quick before we head out. I got to give him a little shout out. Silver lining with Jordan Mason because he's making a name for himself. Through 2 games, we said he's number 2 in rushing yards across the league heading into Monday Night Football. This is the most rushing yards by a San Francisco player in their first 2 career starts in franchise history. That's pretty amazing. Jordan Mason, 247 yards in 2 games. It's the most by any running back of the 49ers history. They've had some good running backs. Frank Gore, Roger Craig. Number 1 through 2 games, Jordan Mason. He is definitely on pace to crush the rookie season record set by Elijah Mitchell a couple years back. So shout out to Jordan Mason. Keep feeding the beast. Hopefully he stays healthy. And y'all have a blessed rest of your day. Deebo, prayers up to Deebo, my guy. He's got a podcast show tomorrow on Bleacher Report. I'm sure he'll talk us through everything. And his first guest, Brandon Ayuk. Don't miss that one. I love y'all.